So, sir, it's been campaigns for like almost how many weeks now?
6 weeks.
Good. And there is this thing that keeps going everywhere. The state governor, Governor Osagie, has not done enough. That is what everybody has been saying from the opposition party APC. He has not done anything. He has not done enough. Fine. If we're to look at the rich states in the country, I'm not sure Edo State is among the first 10 rich, as in we were talking about being rich in Nigeria. So where do we expect him to get the monies to do all those things that they are saying he has not been able to achieve within the period that he's been there as a state governor?
Well, thank you very much, Nafisat. For the Edo elections, the issues that have characterized the campaigns have been based less of issues and more of sentiments, particularly from the side of the governor, the incumbent governor, who is also the PDP candidate. He's been on the saddle for 4 years, or close to 4 years now. And ordinarily, his campaign ought to have been based on his performance, track record, scorecard. But no, his campaign has been based mainly on other issues. He tended to misinform the electorates about the raising the tide as to why he has to be re-elected. He has thrown up issues like issues of godfatherism, which has no basis upon which a governor needs to be elected. Issues of politicians and people asking him to share the money for the state, which has nothing to do with the allocations he has received so far and the huge internally generated revenue. And sometimes issues bordering on outright lies, propaganda, misrepresentation and misinformation about the performance of his government and information about the opposition. Now, let me take you through the entire gamut of his lackluster performance in the last almost 4 years. And before I say that, we must note that this government, under Governor Godwin Osagie, has netted well over 400 billion naira from all sources. Statutory allocations from the Federation account, internally generated revenue, Paris Club refund by the federal government, refund on infrastructures that were executed by the state government under Comrade Adams Oshomole. He has received it. For those projects that Oshomole did, he has received refund for those projects that Oshomole did, projects that are federal government in nature. For example, the Ubawa Road. Loans from the World Bank. At a point, there was a $75 million note. There was another loan from the World Bank. And more laughable is the recent application for 1.5 billion from commercial banks, solely intended to prosecute his elections under the garb of funding critical projects. I have been in the House of Assembly. I understand all these things. The question Edo people should be asking, what has happened to this humongous sum of money that Edo have received? Can we say that the renovation of the Secretariat building in Sapele Road, the High Court building, and a few roads that are already being washed away by rains across the few ones he has done across the state. Payment of salaries, which of course should not be an achievement by any government. Otherwise, don't private sectors pay their worker salary? Is it government that pay their salary? The question that those people should be asking, where is our collective patrimony? How does Governor Godwin Obaseki explains his expenditures on fighting political battles? Where did he get the money from? What is his achievements in Nwode, where I come from? In Oriomo, in Ovia Northeast, in Ovia Southwest, in Ego, in Ikpobaoka, in Oredo, to justify the humongous amount of money that his government has netted in the last almost 4 years, that will guarantee him a re-election. What are the achievements so noticeable in Edo North and Edo Central Senatorial District? Edo people will realize, upon a critical assessment of Godwin Obaseki's administration, that there can be no justification, reasonable one at that, to justify the humongous amount that has come into Edo State. And I said this for so many reasons. Our dear leader of blessed memory, General Dr. S.O. Ogbemudia, left legacies, some of which are still visible up to date. Our dear leader, Professor Ambrose Folorunsho Ali, within a period of 4 years, left legacies that are still visible. His legacies made us, some of us, his products. The number of secondary schools he established within 4 years and free education system. Those are durable legacies of an administration and of a leader. Ambrose Ali University was a project of Ambrose Ali within 4 years. Ewu flour mill that became moribund came up under his administration. Meanwhile, he was governor of Bende State, not Edo State. The present Edo Delta. And one would have expected that with such a large geopolitical zone with huge demographics, his achievements within 4 years would not have been visible. Professor Ambrose Folorunsho Ali of blessed memory made sterling performance in his administration within 5 years. As a professor of gynecologist. He was not an accountant. He was not any investment banker. Edo people should ask Godwin Obaseki, where are the achievements you are talking about? Where are they? For the kind of money we have received? And now to your question, Edo State cannot be regarded as one of the richest states in Nigeria. Yes. I beg to disagree. How many states in Nigeria earn 13% derivation? Edo State is one of them. And Edo State earned 13% derivation by virtue of the fact that Orion local government, Ikpobaoka local government, and Ovia East local government are oil and gas producing. And it may interest you to know that Orion has the highest gas deposit in South Sahara. Now, by virtue of that, the Edo State Oil and Gas Development Commission is in existence to bring about developments in the oil producing areas in Edo State. The internally generated revenue of Edo State has since skyrocketed even from the time of Governor Adams Oshomole. The average earnings from Federation account by Edo State in the last almost 4 years is about 4.2 billion on the average. That is if it is too low. And then this is a state that have gone into loan agreements under this government. After Lagos, Edo State is next in terms of both internal and external loans. So we shouldn't be talking about poverty of government under a man who prides himself as a technocrat and an investment banker. The truth is that this is a man who has frittered away our resources in pursuit of personal ambition, expansion of personal business empire, and reviving of his moribund Afri-Invest. I say so with all sense of responsibility, because we know this and the facts are before us. What you have of the Governor Godwin Obaseki's administration are beautiful presentations in PowerPoints, on paper, that are not on ground in reality. I can give you a few examples of projects he started. It was him who said Gelegele Seaport was going to come on stream. For the undiscerning, they thought that was going to open up the economy of Edo State and make it like another Lagos. But for those of us who knew, we know that it was a project that was bound to fail, because it cannot. Notwithstanding, he has invested a huge sums of money, signing MOUs, traveling abroad, talking about meeting with China Harbor and so many companies in China and Indonesia and other Asian countries, all in the name of building a seaport in Gelegele. How does he justify the expenditure on that failed project? A motor gardens. Oh, there will be an estate, a motor gardens. In fact, I was working in a company that went to provide connectivity on the day the groundbreaking was done. At Upper Sakomba. Go there now is a shadow of himself. Today, he's quick to claim the modular refinery, which the vice president came to do the groundbreaking. The modular refinery is a private investment brought in by the conducive federal government policy to grant license to modular investment investors. Edo is only one. There are several others in the Niger Delta states. Edo is not the only state where modular refinery is being built by private investors from China and other places. But today, he is deceiving Edo people that he has brought modular refinery. He didn't bring modular refinery to Edo. It's a federal government initiative into which states as investors can key into. So what he did was to key into the project by buying equity. If you set up a company and I'm interested, I can decide to buy shares. Does that make the company my own?
No.
That is what Obaseki is telling Edo people. Trying to deceive them that he brought modular refinery. He is even claiming that the Azura power plant is his project, when every one of us know that it was one of the last days project that Goodluck Jonathan came to commission under Governor Adams Oshomole. It may interest you to note that even a 6 classroom block that I built in my community, Osagie is claiming to be the person who did it. He went there, painted the classroom block to another color, and put a signboard, promise fulfilled. How can I be deceived by that? And that's what he's doing everywhere. You go to some areas in Edo Central, you see a signboard, road constructed by the government of Edo State. They will put his picture with a helmet, promise fulfilled. There is no single asphalt. They merely constructed gutter and abandoned the road. How can Edo people believe in such deceit? When we say this, they say, oh, politicians, oh, because he didn't bring money to share. Okay, if he did not bring the money to share, what has he done with the money? These are the pertinent questions Edo State people should be asking. Does the so-called performance he is laying claim to justify the over 400 billion naira that the Edo State have received in the last almost 4 years? How many times have Governor Godwin Osagie announced to Edo people how he is spending Edo State resources? How has he been giving his stewardship